Why end a book as exciting as the Book of Exodus in such an anticlimactic manner? The Book of Exodus tells the story of the deliverance of Israel from Egypt, with plagues and wonders, great signs, deliverances through the Red Sea, protection and provision in the wilderness, and many other things that lead up to an appearance of God to his people at Mount Sinai. And then we have, at the end of the book, instructions for and the descriptions of the building of a tent. It seems to be out of keeping with the rest of the book. Exodus is largely about the deliverance and establishment of a nation, but it ends with the instructions for the tabernacle. Why? The answer to this question, I think, of why so many chapters of the book of Exodus are devoted to the building of the tabernacle will help us to understand not just the tabernacle itself, but the book of Exodus and the event of Exodus more generally. In Exodus, if we take our bearings for our discussion of the tabernacle, we can see it in the context of a lot of other themes of the book. Exodus begins with building projects. It begins with Israel building store cities and other things for Pharaoh. It ends with building for the Lord. And this tracks with the broader theme that is going on in the book of Exodus, which is release from slavery for service to the Lord. Israel is not released in order to be autonomous, but in order to serve a new master, a good master who will raise them up, for whom they will be a royal priesthood and a holy nation. We could also see it in terms of the motif that we have in Scripture and elsewhere of victory building. There is a great battle that's won over some enemy, and after that battle is won, the enemy is spoiled, and with the spoils of the enemy, a building is built. It's an expression of the victory that the Lord has won over his people. And so the fact that the tabernacle is presumably built in large measure through spoils taken from Egypt is part of the meaning of the tabernacle itself. We could also see, in its more immediate context, the tabernacle contrasted with the golden calf. Both of them present images of what it means to come close to God, to relate to God. The golden calf is a false idol, and juxtaposed with that is the true means of approaching God, revealed by God himself in the model of the tabernacle. We could also see it in terms of a continuation of the events of the Exodus. The Exodus is not just event. Much of the book of Exodus is concerned with institution. Once the event has occurred, it's important that that event be continued in the life of the nation, that they not forget what God has done for them. So throughout the book of Exodus, and especially from chapter 12 onwards, much of the material is devoted to instituting the events of the deliverance. We can see this, for instance, in the instructions for the celebration of the Passover, which are concerned not even primarily with the original Passover, but with the continuing celebration of the Passover year after year. We can see it in laws concerning the firstborn, for instance, in chapter 13. The Song of the Sea is like the national anthem for Israel that they'll continue to sing and develop in various ways in the rest of their history. We could think about the way that the year of the Exodus is a foundational year from which other things are numbered. The month of the Exodus becomes the first month of the year. The law given at Sinai becomes the charter for the existence of the people. There are other ways in which we can see the foundation of the people established at Sinai and with the events of the Exodus. Perhaps the most important form in which the Exodus and the theophany at Sinai are instituted is in the tabernacle. The tabernacle is a way in which the original event, the deliverance of the people from Egypt, and the covenant formed at Sinai can be part of the continued life of the people throughout all their generations. This concern for instituting an original event of deliverance is not exclusive to the Old Testament. Perhaps the greatest example that we have of this is found in the Gospels, as Christ institutes in the supper a continuing memorial of what he is about to do in his death. Just as the tabernacle continues the meaning of the original Exodus and covenant-forming events at Sinai, so the regular celebration of the supper is one of the ways that it is ensured that the death of Christ continues to have its proper gravity in the life of his people.